So today, what we're going to make is some baskets out of t-shirt yarn. So this one's made out of cotton cord. Sorry if I seem a little sniffly. It's hay fever season. All of my family is affected by this today. So we're going to make some lovely baskets. So we did something a few weeks ago on making t-shirt yarn. And annoyingly, what I thought this morning was a box that I grabbed from the shop of cotton cord and t-shirt yarn. It was actually all cotton cord and macrame cord. So I've done my demo in this, and then I had to run around the house earlier finding all of the little bits of t-shirt yarn I could. So might be a little bit of a weird basket, but I thought I could show you some crochet basics. Now I'm going to turn this camera off because I'm so snuffly and you don't need to see that. So there we go. So I'm very, very sorry if I start sneezing at any point. So we're going to start with something that looks like this. So we're going to start with a magic ring, and I'm not going to lie, I'm not the best at magic rings, but the main thing with them is that they're this adjustable circle. So as you're doing something circular, then you can move it around and shrink it if you get too big a hole. So I didn't do a magic ring on this one, and that's why it's got a big hole in it. But what you do is, so I've just got a little reminder next to me because, like I've said, I am not good at this and I know what my strengths are, and a magic ring is not one. So you hold two fingers out like that, and you have it so that it's going across in this direction so that you've got the bulk of your yarn to the left of you, and then you wrap in front once and in front again like this. So you've got your tail just there. And then I'm using a 10mm crochet hook here, and we're going to anchor that bit just over there. And we're going to go under here with the hook side up, and we're going to grab this bit here and pull it through. So it makes kind of like a weird A shape. Twist it round, go back into there, and we're going to grab the long cord like that. And then we'll pull it through, and that makes your magic ring that is adjustable. So I'm going to do that again because I know I struggle with it. So let's do it again as a reminder. So you wrap in front once. In fact, let's make that a bit shorter. In front once, in front again. Anchor that bit there. And we're going to go under here to make an A shape. Turn it around. And then we're going to grab that bit from there and pull it through like that. Maybe one more time just for good luck. Go in front and in front again. Anchor this over here. This is going to go through, twist around, grab this, and pull it through. So you've got your little adjustable bit just there. And then we're on to the next bit. The bit that for me is going to be the much easier bit. So I'm going to remind myself to kind of slow down. And I've got a little pattern in front of me so I can make sure I'm using the right terms. So we're going to, and I've done a much too long tail on there, but that's okay. We're going to work it in as we go. So to start with, we're going to chain one like this. And then we're going to, so we've got one little chain there. And then we're going to do 7 single crochets. Sorry, automatically going fast on this. Let's zoom in. So a single crochet, you go into the middle of your ring, grab this. And I'd say don't worry about how you hold your fingers. I always try and kind of brace them like this. But I know when I first learned how to crochet, people telling me how to hold my fingers really made it difficult for me. And then you go under and then pull it through those two. So that is one single crochet. So you go in, wrap around, underneath, and pull it through. So we're going to do 7 of those. So you go in, wrap around, pulls through. So the wraparound bit is actually called a yarn over, but I feel like when you're new to it, saying yarn over is tricky because it is a wraparound motion. So you count them like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I could move these along this to make them a bit smaller. 6, 7. It doesn't matter if your t-shirt yarn has little bits in it like that. So then you pull this cord and it should make that smaller so that those are going to join up like that. And then we're going to do a slip stitch. So a slip stitch, you go through this little bit here. And then we're going to yarn over, pull it through that one and that one. And that is the first round done. I'm just going to blow my nose quickly. I had a tissue and I moved it out of the way because I didn't want it to be in view. No, don't know where it's gone. Sorry about that. So next row, we're going to chain 1 and then we are going to single crochet 2 into each of the last single crochets. So we'll chain 1. So I'll do that again. So from there, you wrap around, pull it through, and that is 1 chain. So then we're going to go into that same stitch there, go through, yarn over, pull it through. So that counts as 2 because it's got the chain stitch as well. So now a good way to remember it that someone's told me is stab it. What is it? Stab it, strangle it, pull its guts out. Strangle it, pull its guts out. Might not work for you, but I know it's one of those things that a lot of people say to remember what they're doing with crochet. So that is how 2 single crochets in 1 look. Just going to pause something over here. Sorry, I didn't realise the little video I had to remind me how to do a magic crochet properly was still going, and that's probably why my internet is being severely slow. And it's just turned itself off. It's very strange. Right, so, oh, it's come back. Sorry about this. I didn't even realise it was still going because the internet was so laggy that it was... There we go. Right. Now my phone's telling me that it's running out of battery. There we go. Wrap that around there so it's out of the way. So yarn over into, so I'm just working this long tail in at the same time. Work into that, pull it through. Oh, I've done something wrong there. I know why. So go in, yarn over, pull it through. And then a second one in there. Go in, pull it through, yarn over, go through 2. So you just keep going like that. So it uses quite a lot of yarn very, very quickly. Sorry, technology is absolutely failing me today. So what you're looking for and what you're going into is this little V shape here. You go underneath that V shape. Oh, it started playing again. I don't know why. Just gonna get rid of this completely because it started playing another video and I don't know why at all. Got internet running like the early 2000s today. It's very glitchy and very odd. So this round, it's 2 single crochet into each one. There we go. It's gone away, so now I don't have to worry about that slowing the internet down. Just have to worry about the general laggy speeds of it. So the problem with the t-shirt yarn is because it's stretchy, can start to curl up a little bit. So if it does that, then you might just need a bigger hook or a few extra stitches. But I think this will correct itself on the next one round. And you get a feel for it with crochet as well, where you need to add more bits. There we go. Oh, I've got another t-shirt yarn that's come to join. So now I'm back to this first bit here. So what we're going to do to join it together is go into that hole, wrap around. So this is another slip stitch, and then pull it straight through that one. I think actually, no, ignore me. That one isn't where I need to do it. I think I need to do one more before that. Two more, and then on into it. Yeah, there we go. That's better. So now this next row, we're going to do one chain stitch and then one into that next one, and then we're just going to do one into the next thing. Just checking I've got that right on the pattern. Yes, I have. So we're going to do a chain like this. I'm about to run out of this colour. And the good thing, I was really annoyed at first that I didn't have all of the t-shirt yarn with me that I thought I did, because I packed the car quite late last night for all of today's things. But actually, it's going to make it a bit easier to see, I think, with all these different colours. So I'm going to tie it in a little wreath knot like that. So it's nice and strong. So we've had our chain, and then we're going to yarn over, go back into that same hole and pull through. Wait, ignore me, that's not, that was a double crochet, wasn't it? So yarn over after we've gone through, getting ahead of myself. And then we go into the next one, and the next one we're only going to do one double, one single crochet even. And then this next hole here, we're going to do 2 single crochets. And then this next one, just 1. So this colour contrast will show you a bit clearer how many we're doing in each. So 1 in there, now 2 in there. Like that. And then just 1 in the next one. The only problem with this is working with something like this quite rough on your hands. You have to pull it quite a lot to get it to work properly. And if you stopped at this point, You could have a little coaster. And you could do it with things like I've got some plant here as well, which is just plastic yarn. So you could use things like that to do this same technique. It's nice. If the internet will allow, I'll put some nice background music on. Might not allow. So slow today. Everything I've tried to do online has been a pest. Yeah, there we go. You can see a really good colour contrast on that now. It's gonna check. So apparently music is playing, but it's not. Oh, it's on mute. So I think I'm back to the starting bit now. So I'm going to go through this one, pull it through to do a slip stitch. And then the next one, we're going to increase again, but increase a little bit less. So we're going to do a chain stitch, and then we're going to do a single crochet into the same space. Just gonna check I've got this right. So 1, 2, 3. So we're on the 4th round. Yes, thought I had this right. So 2 single crochets into this one, and then we're going to do just 1 single crochet in the next 2 holes. So 1 there and 1 here, and then we're back to 2. We keep doing that So this increase makes it get bigger rather than it going upwards. In fact, I'm going to put a little marker where I started, because that's one thing that I always struggle with, is working out where the beginning is. Even though it's quite obvious, I do struggle with it a little bit.
Now it's even easier to sell for free on
As I play music on YouTube every so often, videos, like little adverts come up. We don't need to hear those. So this is sort of the stage that I got to with this one. So this looks a lot flatter, because this one, I think the t-shirt yarn sizing is different, but it'll look nice when it's done. And all recycled things as well, so that's always good. Don't know if anyone knows that last week was Fashion Revolution week. There's lots of good stuff going on for that. And it's got me looking forward to Sustainable Fashion Week, which is at I think it's in September. And now we're going into Mend It May. So I might try and work something out to coincide with Mend It May. So that is the base of it done. So now we're going to start on the sides. So we're going to flip the whole thing over like this. I'll take this out and then put it back in. And we're only going to work in the bottom loop here. So where we've got these little V shapes, we're not going to go through all of them. We're just going to go through this one here. And we're just going to do a single crochet into each one. So we're going to chain one first, and then I'll do a little bit here again, just to remind me where we are. And then working into just the bottom. So it's very similar, but just slightly different. So this time we're not increasing because we don't want the thing to get bigger. We just want it to stay this size. So this is going to make up the first row of the sides. Now I'm going to tie on another one. So I've got a bit of pink here. So the reason for only going into the bottom stitch is that, oh, sorry, is that then it gives you this natural point. Just realized I was meant to do this the other way up, but that's okay, where it's got a bit of a gap, so it naturally stands up. Whereas if you went into the whole thing, it would start to curve, but this gives it a bit more definition. So nearly back at the start point. And then for a few rounds, it's quite repetitive. So now we're going to slip stitch those together. So go through, pull it through, pull it through. That is the first round done, like that. So now, put this through here again. It's just a single crochet into each and every hole. So going underneath both of the V's like we have been before that last round. So we're going to do, how many rows is it? I think it's 4 rows, exactly the same. And there should be 34 stitches, so I'm actually going to count them this time. And I bet I won't have 34. So you might notice this is coming in quite a bit, and it's because this is a lot stretchier than the last ones we've been using. So it's a little bit tricky, but it's all right. Tie another bit on. In fact, I've shown a really clever way of tying 2 things together, where you make a little snip at the end of each. You put one through the other, and the tail of that one goes through that snip. And then when you pull it tight, it sits really nice and flat, like that. So I've ended up with 31 instead of 34, which I think could be worse, couldn't it? So then we're going to slip stitch into that one, pull it through, do another single crochet into that one, and then we keep doing the same thing. So it will start growing upwards, and this row should pull it out a little bit because it's got a bit less stretch than that pink one. So the problem is it does use so much t-shirt yarn. So what I'm going to do is chop up this example one. I think it's one that was made in a workshop at some point. And this, because bits of it have been pulled quite tight and probably don't have a lot of stretch left over, they'll be a lot skinnier. But that's the best thing with t-shirt yarn. Even once something's been used, you can pull it apart and keep using it again. So we're going to do that same technique to tie them together. So actually with this one, that's not quite thick enough to do a cut in. We'll just tie it through like that. And then we'll just keep going. And see how it's sitting a little bit better now with that less stretchy t-shirt yarn. And I've got a spare t-shirt next to me in case I need to quickly make some more t-shirt yarn. So I'm going to slip stitch these together, and this is still going inwards quite a lot. So the best thing about crochet is that you can just kind of, if something isn't going right, you can make it up as well. So I'm going to I'm going to do 2 single crochets in a row and then 2 single crochets in one space, just to increase the size of it and hopefully stop it pulling quite as much. It should hopefully work quite nicely, just to, although saying that, that's starting to stand up a little bit more. But we'll do a few anyway. We'll do 2 single crochets into this one. And I think it's more this section that's struggling. But it'll be good to have a bit of consistency to it. Maybe not every 3, actually, maybe every 4. So 3 sets of single crochets and then 2 together on the next. So already that's starting to look really nice now. Sometimes you just have to trust the process and hope for the best. So I'm getting to the end of. Oh, sorry about that. Is there still an echo? Nope, we've managed to get rid of the echo. Right, so I've got to the end of the t-shirt yarn. So I think I'm going to add in, rather, because we've only got like 5 minutes left, rather than add in and make you watch me do loads of extra t-shirt yarn, can I either add in some cotton cord or some plan? Let's use the plan. It might be horrible. I might give up on it very quickly. And this might actually end up being a two-parter. Might not finish it all today, but at least next week I could get ready with some more supplies of t-shirt yarn. What have I got wrong here? Oh, right, I get it. That's why that's not going to work, because it needs to be a shorter bit than a long piece. But we'll give it a go in the last few minutes, and then if it's horrible, can just get rid of it and it's not a problem. Then we'll slip stitch into that one. Oh, that one's tough. And then it's just the exact same for the next row. That actually looks nicer than I thought it would. I thought within a second I'd be like, no, let's get rid of this. But actually, it's all right. Quite hard to work with. But it might add a nice little element to this very scrappy basket. Yeah, definitely not the most fun to work with, but it looks interesting. So I do lots of different basket making out of recycled things. Ooh, so I do ones where you twist them together to make a kind of cord of your own. You could do this whole thing with just strips of fabric as well if you wanted. I do ones on sewing machines. So if you'd like to learn any other basket making techniques, let me know. Or we could do that too. So if you remember how to make t-shirt yarn, maybe at the start of the next session, I'll show people how to make t-shirt yarn as a bit of a reminder. But you make plan the exact same way. I think we are nearly out of time for this week. So if you've had a go at this at home, do drop me a message, send me pictures of what you've made. If you've got any questions, you can drop me a message about that as well. And we'll keep going with this one next week. Yeah, could be worse, couldn't it? All right, thank you so much. Have a really good day. Bye.